Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to everyone who is watching us to this moment in time. This is Brother Benson, and today I'm here. I want to just share about the presser that was given by Rigathi Gachagua concerning abduction. As you know very well, that the abduction issue has been with us here for quite some time. Just a few days ago, about three young men were abducted before Christmas, and they spent um, their holidays uh, in a known location, especially. And the parents and everybody is worried about them, and even everybody's worried about the abduction that is taking place in the country. And to bring you up to speed, even today in Embu, there was a protest, especially organized by one member of parliament with the resident demanding for the release of Billy Mwangi. And they've given government around 24 hours. If not, they will continue with the protest. So today in Nyeri again, Deputy President, the former Deputy President, I mean, came out and gave a presser concerning the same. And he has raised or he has exposed a few things that are quite much telling or quite much traumatizing, especially for the parents or even the country at large, about the abductions. And though people have been speculating, but today uh, the Rigathi Gachagua, while giving pressure in his Nyeri home, uh, uh, said some things here. And some of the things that I'm picking from his speech, especially his presser, are about three important things. And maybe before I mention those three important things that I'm getting from his presser, let's just play a clip, then we can pick it from there.
Will be giving the name of the building and the full names of that officer and his cousin in this administration. And these people are not answerable to the Inspector General of Police. Your guess is as good as mine as to who is the commander of that unit. Let me emphasize that killing our children will not quell the anger of the Kenyan people. People are very angry with this administration. Abducting young people is not a solution. You must address the cause of the disquiet, of the discontent. Why are people aggrieved with this administration? That must be dealt with. Abducting these children and killing them is not a solution. And I must remind my friend and brother, Dr. William Ruto, that since independence, no government has ever gone for children. This is the first administration in the history of this country to target children for repression and persecution. Even the colonial administration, brutal as it was, it never went for the children. And the question the president must address is simple. Why has everybody turned against you and the administration in only 2 years? That is what you need to interrogate instead of persecuting these children. Again, he must understand the law of nature. Nature abhors vacuum. When you swallow the opposition and there is nobody to hold you to account, when you capture parliament and other institutions of oversight, since nature abhors vacuum, other formations will emerge to oversight you and hold you to account. And that is how the church has come up to hold the government to account. And that is how these young Kenyans have come out to hold the government to account.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And that was a presser by former Deputy President Honorable Rigathi Gachagua at his Nyeri home. So from his presser, there are a few things that I've picked that are quite much important for us to know. One, Deputy President has spoke about the building. So which means the people who are doing abduction, they have a building where they operate from. Yeah. So that is one. They have a building, an office, maybe well equipped with everything, surveillance and everything, maybe that which we did not so we did not say, but that is now what I believe. Because if they have a place for operating, yeah, so which means it is well coordinated and maybe well funded unit. That is one. Secondly, he also says the name he will name the name of the officer and his cousin. So which means the officer and his cousin. So it's a family thing. You know, maybe the family is something that is operated by the family or is uh, operated by close relatives. You know, those who can keep secret. So if maybe you're not a close member, or if you are not a relative, you might not be in the command. So that is the full name of the officer and his cousin in this administration. So the officer and the cousin, so maybe the cousin and the officer, they're working for the same administration. And right now the administration that we know is about the Kenya Kwanza administration. So that is one. Another important thing is about that this unit is not answerable to Inspector General. And now that one would make us agree with uh, IG when he said the police officers are not abducting um, Kenyans. But if you are the IG and such like is happening as the police officer, can you initiate or start investigation with the DCI for Kenyans to know um, how is that one possible? Because for instance, some of these young men, when they are being abducted, the cameras, you find like the public has cameras, the public has even the registration number for these vehicles that are capturing or abducting the young people, you know, and you cannot investigate that. That is one question. And remember, I don't know whether you remember the young guy who was uh, um, taken into custody to be behind the Kware mass killing or the Kware dumping site, who murdered those women. You know, how long did it take the uh, uh, the security apparatus to get this guy? Within a, it was not even like 24 hours, and with all evidence, and they got him. And but remember, this guy, nobody saw him on the cameras. Yeah, but they were able to trace this guy and came up with all this exhibit and you know that this guy was operating. And what happened? He escaped the jail or is it the prison, and he has not been apprehended until today. So um, that one would raise eyebrows. You know, how comes that the guy who was not captured in camera, the security operators could get him within 24 hours, but this guy who these young men who were captured, um, they're public cameras. You know, people have cameras showing how they were abducted. You know, remember even where Larry Mado was um, went to do his reporting. There were almost CCTV cameras from there were around six. You know, yeah. So that is something that also to me say that IG does not know what is happening. Secondly, He has also given a demand that if the unit is not dismantled, he will name the officers, and also he will name the building. That would be good so that the public would know. Yeah. So where uh, they are coming from. So the police also should take action if in case deputy or the police IG should um, go to the deputy president and former deputy president to give them information about the building, the location, the people who are behind this. Something that the deputy president did not mention, the commander, but he said, "Your guess is good as mine." That is what he said. So those are some of the things that I really picked. But there are also few points he mentioned that they we we've been speaking about on this platform, on other platforms, is about one, the parliament. The 13th parliament is one of the worst parliament when it comes to the parliamentary democracy. The 13th parliament that we have. I don't think that the parliament, the parliamentarians and the legislature that we have today have done justice to Kenyan people. No, I don't think so. Because they don't make their own decisions. And I can cite for you two incidences where I feel that the government does not, I mean, the parliament is not making their own decisions. Remember when the finance bill 2024, um, how people protested about before even it's passed in parliament, and people said, okay, it's not a good financial bill to us. Yeah, there's so many taxes that you're pushing on our throat that we do not want. Can you reconsider? And some members of parliament were pushing for it. Yeah, and what happened? Gen Z came, people went on protest. President came and withdrew the financial bill 2024. But the time when he was withdrawing that bill, there were quite members of parliament who were sitting behind him. Immediately, the president was withdrawing that, they stood up and clapped for the president for doing something that is very honorable, for president for listening to Kenyan people. They were clapping, and they are the same people who passed the bill, even after the electorate were telling them this bill is not good for the country. That is one. It tells you like parliament do not have uh, independent decision. They don't make the parliamentarians don't make decisions of their own. Majority of them. Another incident about a Adani deal. Yeah, when a Adani deal came into limelight, so many Kenyans complained about the Adani deal contract. Yeah, to an extent whereby they were even giving cases where that company has been involved in corruption. There was also in another country where their accounts were frozen just because of allegation of corruption. Yeah, until the United States indicted one of the CEOs of the entire uh, organization. Then in the speech, the State of the Nation speech address, what happened? President withdrew, or not withdrew, but canceled the deal. Said that he has been informed with the relevant agencies that is not a good deal, so we've terminated the contract between us and the Adani and the government. But what happened? The MC stood up in Parliament and clapped, gave the president standing ovation. But now you ask yourself, and people have been complaining about this. The public has been raising concern about the Adani. They've been telling you it's not a good deal. Yeah. So which means some of the parliament itself, no, has never done justice to Kenyan people. That is one. The deputy president also talked about opposition. Right now we have broad-based government. Everybody's in government. Um, a few, especially now we can talk of Wiper and Eugene Wamalwa political party. Those are the only ones that are not in government. But the majority of ODM members, they are in broad-based government. Martha Karua has raised this issue about the opposition being in government, you know, and now that one leaves the oversight. Nobody can now oversight the government. Yeah, whether you are opposition, we used to call it we are calling it opposition, but it's with a member of minority, minority leaders or minority side, because the minority, they are the people who should put government on check. Yeah, Martha Karua also has raised issues with the some of the committees, especially the Public Account Commission. The Public Account Committee, that committee should be held by opposition, not the minority. But in a situation whereby you find the position is being held by ODM, but they are in broad-based government, you know, and that is a Public Account Committee, yeah, which should be held by opposition. What is happening? How will you put accountability? Because that's a committee that also even checked about the debt, the usage of money, because the public is a public account committee. Is what account how the government is using the money, you know. So that is also something that Rigathi Gachagua has raised. Yeah. So I don't know now who to blame. As much as we might also blame the government, but also the opposition also, or the minority, they are the ones who should put the government on check. Because in the in the developed countries, situation to do with what is happening, what will happen is the committees in charge of security will have to call the relevant authority in charge to investigate or to question them what is happening. Yeah, with abduction even of Besije, we did not see the committee in charge of security. I don't know whether they called the police IG and the relevant authority to question them about that. You know, that is now what we call oversighting. That oversighting is not only in the parliament, even the committees do oversight on behalf of the people. Yeah, especially now the issue of abduction. The committee that is in charge of security could have even called the PS, could have called the acting uh, CS for Interior, that is Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, to give light or information of what is happening. But that is what is not happening. So I think there's lapses somewhere. The deputy president also has talked about the discontent. I've always insisted, or I've always said, and there's some other platforms also. If you listen to some other podcasters, they're talking about the disconnect. There's this disconnect between the government and the people. How will you bridge that gap? Yeah, there are few political class who feel people are united, and now we are in broad-based government. Yeah, a few. Yeah, but the majority of Kenyans are feeling that they're left out. Yeah, they're feeling they are left out. You know, so that is something that if you can have a conversation and know what is it that the electorate wants, then you can bridge that disconnect between the government and the people, or even the government departments. Talk about security, talk about health, talk about every department. If you can bridge that gap, it 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 can um, it can that the that hostility can go down a bit. And something that I did not mention, if you look at the pattern of abduction, also has really changed. I don't know whether you've realized that. Um, you know, long the before they used to call them Subaru boys. Utapatikana na Subaru boys, lakini saizi ni kama mtindo umebadilika. Unapata kwamba wanaweza kukujiwa na pickup ama ukujiwa na probox. Sasa unajua, huwezi jua ni nani na nani eh? So hiyo tu ni mwendelezo. Mimi nilikuwa tu nataka tu kuzungumzia yale ambayo aliyekuwa naibu wa rais leo wakati wa hotuba yake kule Madhira alisema, na pale pia amesema kwamba kuna ile mkutano ya maombi ambayo itafanyika, nimesahau pahali, lakini amesema ati wameambiwa kwamba lazima wapate permit. Ehe. So hayo ndiyo maneno. Kwa hayo machache, nataka kushukuru wale ambao um, masubscribers wetu ambao wametusupport na wale ambao wamejiunga na sisi ambao ni wapya, tunashukuru sana. Pia sitakosa kusema kwamba mimi bado I'm still wishing you happy holidays with your family members wherever you are. May you enjoy, stay safe, and may God bless you. Thank you so much.